Hello there, how are you? Welcome to the shit episode. Yes, that's right, I said the shit episode of the Dave Laight BE HAPPY podcast. I am David Laight, and I'd like to say to you a very, very warm welcome to this episode, whoever you are and wherever you are in the world. I was reflecting on the previous episode, which was the first one that I put out. It was the introductory episode to the Dave Laight BE HAPPY podcast, and I was saying things like the fact that this podcast, it's not based in theory. This ain't blue sky thinking. This isn't written in books. All this advice is coming from real people who have experienced real things in their life and are passing on real life experience. And I went on to say that we don't use big words in this podcast. And when I listened back, what I actually said was, we do not use highfalutin words in this podcast, which made me chuckle because I thought I used a big word to describe the fact that I was saying that we wouldn't use big words. Just made me laugh. Thought it might make you laugh or give you a little chuckle too. Anyway, let's get back to this episode, which I said is called the shit episode. I have to apologise for using bad words because I don't use any bad words in my podcasts, but I've got to confess I do use them every single day in my life because that's my background, and I like them. I use them especially in my mind, whether that's right or wrong, I do. I'm talking fast because I said that this podcast, each one would only last no more than 15 minutes, ideally around 10 minutes. Otherwise, it just gets boring, doesn't it? And people just switch off. I don't want you to switch off because although this might be said with a bit of a, it might be just said a bit lightheartedly, maybe someone might say a bit flippantly, but I don't mean it to be like this. What I'm telling you is real stuff from real life that can really help you to get to a better place and to find real, true inner happiness and to keep that true inner happiness within yourself as you move forward forever in your life. I've used the word shit in this because I couldn't find a better word to use. Maybe you know a better word that I could have used in the context of this episode. And if you do, put it in the comment section. Just let me know what word you think I should have used. Maybe it's my upbringing, and maybe it's the fact that I have not got a big vocabulary, but shit was the best word that I could use. We are talking about happiness in this episode. In fact, we talk about happiness in every single episode. That's the point of the podcast. Here's the fact, the learning from this, the shit episode. The fact is, if you want to be happy in your life, you have got to get the shit out of your life. You simply got to remove as much shit as possible out of your life. And when I say get the shit out of your life, this is what I'm saying to you. Don't listen to shit, don't talk shit, don't do shit, and don't hang around with shit people. Now, a speaker that I love and listen to, he quotes another speaker who always talked about OQP. And OQP stands for only quality people. Only have quality people in your life. That's what you got to do. OQP, only have quality people in your life. Don't hang around with shit people. If you if you hang around with shit and deal in shit, you will have a shit life. It's true. Obvious when you say it, but it's funny how obvious it is that many people, all they do is live with shit and have a shit life. They can't break out of the shit. Get rid of the shit. If you've got a shit mentality, you can have a shit life. Simple as that. Now, we are a computer. We're a human computer, and like any computer, if you program shit in, you get shit out. But if you program quality in, you is going to get quality out. So I'm talking about if you remove shit from your life, you're just going to be left with quality. And that means that you can go forward and live a quality life, which will mean a happy life. Now, I'm going to break down each of these categories for you. Don't listen to shit, don't talk shit, don't do shit, and don't hang around with shit people. Just going to say a little bit about each of those things. Then we're done. Quick, hopefully sharp and succinct, and then you can move on with your life. I might be saying it joking, but this is serious shit in this shit episode. See what I did there? So let's get started. Don't listen to shit. Fact is, we are surrounded by shit every single day of our lives, every minute of our lives. Shit, bad news, negativity is fired at us from all directions, from multiple sources, from newspapers, radio, TV shows, people, colleagues, friends, strangers in the street even, can rock up and deliver shit to you. You've got to just listen to that with a peripheral ear. You might have to listen to it, but discount it straight away. If it's not anything to do with you, just discount it. You don't need to know. Don't dwell on all that negativity. What you've got to do in terms of programming yourself, and this is really, really serious, you ask any psychiatrist or any scientist, anyone who knows what they're talking about, if you listen to something before you go to bed, you like the news, read a paper, the radio, you're scrolling on your phone, looking at the news feed, all you'll get is bad news, and you'll program yourself to dwell on that as you're sleeping. You may think, oh, I'm just sleeping, but actually you're dwelling on it. And when you top this up in the morning, because then you then wake up in the morning and you do the same thing, you look at the newspaper or radio or scroll on your phone again for the news, you take in a lot of bad news, and that programs you to have that in your life, in your body, in your thoughts all through the day. Do not do it. Before you go to bed, be talking about, listening to positive, inspirational stuff, and do the same when you get up. That's all about don't listen to shit. So let's get on about don't talk shit. Don't talk shit to other people and to yourself. You've got an inner voice that you are always using. You've got to control that inner voice to make sure that it's only talking in a positive way, especially to you, because that is the most powerful voice that you'll ever listen to, your inner voice. If it talks shit to you, you'll do shit, you'll get shit in your life. Positive thoughts is what you need to be programming that voice to be saying and doing. On the outside, when you're talking to other people, don't talk other people down, because that just makes you look bad and it creates a negative atmosphere. When you talk down to someone, someone else to someone, when they look at you, they have no trust in you, because they know that when they walk away, you'll just go and talk to someone else about them and talk negative about them too, because that's what you're like. Don't engage in pity parties. Pity parties are when, I know a guy, he's not having a good time at work at the moment, and he told me he went and spoke to someone else in the job, and they agreed with him. Yeah, it's a terrible job. And then all they did was spend 15 minutes telling each other how bad it was. How good did they feel at the end of that? Not very good at all. Do not engage in pity parties. Don't talk people down, and just make sure that your inner voice is talking positive all the time. I just want to share these words with you, which are my words. All that you are and all that you will ever be is a direct result of your thoughts and your dreams, the decisions that you make and the actions that you take, because you are what you think, and you think what your inner thoughts tell you to think, so control them. Next little category to talk about is don't do shit. People all over the place are doing shit, and a lot of people do shit because they're trying to buy their happiness cheap, and they do shit things like steal or cheat or bully, they drink to excess, or they lie, they do drugs. All these bad things are examples of where people are just trying to buy happiness cheaply, and they do find a little bit of happiness out of it, don't they? They get a little bit of happiness, but it's just a temporary happiness. It ain't going to last very long at all, and once that little high, that little temporary happiness goes, it's replaced with a bigger down, and they engage themselves then going forward into a downward spiral where they go for a little bit more cheap happiness. They find something, it's not as happy as it was previously, but then it's experienced by a low, and the thing is, the low will be bigger than a previous low, and it will get worse and worse and worse. Do not go and try to buy cheap happiness for you in your life. It's never worth it. And these people that do go and try and find this sort of stuff in their lives, they're always looking over their shoulder, because they've always gone to look out for someone who's going to go and catch them cheating or lying or drugging or whatever. And the point about that is you cannot move forward in your life if you're looking backwards over your shoulder. It just can't be done. You just keep tripping yourself up. If you want to live a great life, you want to live a good life, I don't mean a truly great, a good and a really fantastic life, you've got to do right, work right, love right, friend right. You've got to talk right. And that sounds really cheesy. That's what we would say in the UK. That's really cheesy to say that. Just do right, work right, love right, friend right, talk right. Really cheesy, but it's bloody well true. You have got to live with integrity, and integrity is doing the right thing when no one is listening. Here's a bit of advice from my dad, and I'd like to give this to you, offer it up as a major piece of advice in life. If you're doing everything right, you ain't doing nothing wrong. So make sure everything that you're doing in your life life is right. Then you ain't doing nothing wrong. Don't listen to that negative inner voice. You've got two voices that talk to you. One's positive, one's negative. It's always easier to listen, for some reason, to the bad voice that's telling you to take the shortcut, to do the easy thing, get some easy happiness, take a shortcut to success, etc., etc. Easy to do always ends up in misery. You've got to do the right thing, and it's not always easy to do the right thing. For example, if you upset someone, it ain't always easy to go and apologise, is it? But anything that's hard, it comes to you hard, that you've got to do you know what? It's always worth it in the end. And finally, I just want to end up talking about the last category that I said, which is don't hang around with shit people. And really, I just want to use this saying from Les Brown, who's a very famous speaker, to sum up about don't hang around with shit people. Les Brown says winners hang with winners and losers hang with losers. Drug dealers hang with drug dealers, drinkers hang with drinkers, sports people hang with sports people, music people hang with music people, criminals hang with criminals, positive people hang with positive people, etc., etc., etc. You are who you hang around with. It is a fact, I believe it's a proven fact, that if you analyse the income of the 8 people that you hang around with the closest, your income will be in the average of what they all earn. So if you want to be a millionaire, you better start hanging around with millionaires. The other thing that Les Brown says when he's talking about winners hang with winners and losers hang with losers is, if you've got a loser in your life, this is very serious, life critical. If you've got a loser in your life and you've tried to help him, you've tried to do everything you possibly can to help him, to help give him a leg up in life, set him on the right path, and you've tried time and time again, there comes a point when you've got to let them go, when you've got to turn your back on them before they bring you down with them. If you've got a loser in your life, get rid of them as soon as you possibly can. That's it for this little episode. I'm now at 12 minutes and 39 seconds, so going to end very soon. Although we talked about shit in this life, I hope we talked about shit in terms of it being positive. If you've got a better word that says it more succinctly than don't do shit, cut shit out of your life, please share it in the comment section. Also, I'd be so grateful if you would subscribe, if you would share this with anyone else that needs a leg up in life. This is number 2 episode of the Dave Laight Be Happy podcast, and we're talking about shit. But you know what? Once you're in the poo, things can only get better. Got some great things to talk about in further episodes, so please tune in. And I'd like to end by saying the same thing as we end in every single episode, simply by saying, be happy. Because if you ain't happy in your life, what's the point? Thanks for listening. Take good care of yourself. Bye.